Welcome to Classroom 2 Courtroom. Here's your host, Scott Benton.
Hey everyone, Scott Benton here. How are you? I am the host of the Classroom to Courtroom podcast, where we help you easily transition from a law school student into your professional career as an attorney, and it's where we make the practice of law fun. And today we're going to take a look at why clients disengage. Are you a law student or recent graduate waiting for admission to the California bar and eager to gain real-world legal experience? Join the Legacy Lawyers' coveted associate programs in sunny Southern California. Our hands-on spring, summer, and fall programs provide opportunities to dive into high-stakes probate litigation. If you aspire to litigate and thrive in an America First culture that values God, family, and country, we want you on our team. Don't wait, space is limited. Call 714-766-0457 to learn more about this exciting opportunity. That's 714-766-0457. Elevate your legal career with the Legacy Lawyers. Now remember, when it comes to your caseload, when you're looking at your individual cases, you're going to be in one of three mindsets yourself. You're either going to be winning, or you're going to be losing, or you're going to be disengaged. Remember that of those three mindsets, being disengaged is probably the one place that you really don't want to find yourself in at all. So if you're disengaged on a case for really any reason, you've got to figure out a way to become re-engaged, which you can often do by talking to your client and talking about the case objectives. Now, a lot of the time, the case target that you're trying to hit, in other words, the legal goal, it's either become so obscured or convoluted, or maybe it's just changing all the time, which makes it difficult to get anything down on your to-do list or really perform any legal services for that case. So the case might remain stagnant or just even disappear without your attempts as the attorney to revive it. So you really want to get back in there. You want to get back into the ring, and you want to move from a disengaged mindset yourself to either a winning or a losing mindset. Hopefully it's the winning mindset, but really even if it's the losing mindset, at least you're engaged now in the case, and wherever you are at the moment is at least you're moving the case forward. Whether you're winning or losing, you want to be moving the case forward. But what happens when it's the client that disengages? What does that tell you as the attorney, and how can you get the case back on track? Now, a lot of times there might be an assumption that clients disengage simply because they don't have the money, and so they stop contacting you and they stop paying their bills for the legal services that are already rendered. But as we've seen over and over again, it's generally not a money issue. So you as the attorney really want to understand when the problems are with client disengagement as opposed to you as the attorney disengaging. Because if you understand that it's client disengagement, now you can make any necessary corrections or pivots and get the case moving again. The number one reason clients disengage is because, from their perspective, they're really only seeing the legal bills coming in, which they pay, but they're not really seeing anything happening on their case. They do see the billing entries, but it could be that the client just doesn't understand what the billing entries mean, or maybe the billing entries are written with legal language or jargon that's just difficult to understand for someone that doesn't have a legal background. They may also not hear from the attorney or not receive a status update where they can see what progress has already been made. Overall, there's really a communication breakdown, and the client feels like they're getting nothing for their money. Naturally, it's no surprise that they're going to disengage, and no one really wants to feel like they're not getting anything for their money. Now, the truth is that typically a lot is actually being done on a case, whether it's through the attorney or a paralegal or a law clerk. But the bigger problem is that it's not getting communicated to the client, so they have little or just no visibility for what's happening. And then it goes without saying that clients don't really know how the legal system works typically. I mean, sometimes they do. Also, and this is probably because of movies and television, clients might just assume that completing a case just doesn't take much time at all, when in reality it can take quite a long time in some cases, depending on several variables. If the second month comes and goes and the client hasn't heard anything from the attorney, even though legal services are getting completed and work is done on the case, the client might get a little confused unless they understand that a case doesn't get solved in 15 minutes like it does in a courtroom television show like Judge Judy. In their mind, a month is a really long time for a case, let alone 2 months or even 3 months. And as I'm sure, a case can sometimes drag on for a year or two. So when a client is disengaging from their case, and when you better understand why that is and how they see the case through their point of view, then that becomes an opportunity to get on the phone with them, or you can even meet them in person if that's just a better idea. But you want to communicate with them in order to reinvigorate the case and go through everything and where it's going at the present moment. You want to reset the expectations that the client has, and you want to make sure they know where the case is in the overall timeline and just where it's headed. And more importantly, you want to know what their legal objectives are. Sometimes clients come in with a legal issue that they're not really able to navigate, or maybe they don't know what their options really are. So they lay out their problem with you during the first meeting, and they're trying to figure out the case objectives. Many clients don't know how to navigate the legal field, and it's why they've come to you in the first place for your expertise, which includes knowing what their options are, helping them figure out what their goals are that they want to achieve, and then finally, how to get there, how to navigate. If they don't know the legal goals themselves or really don't entirely understand them, then this is where you can help clarify that gap of information. And it's your opportunity to highlight the value of the case. If a client doesn't see what they're potentially getting in return for the money that they're paying out, then why would they continue paying for legal services? The short answer is they just wouldn't. But just for the sake of this illustration, if you're able to explain to them that if they win the case, that they're going to receive, let's say, a $500,000 inheritance, and they see that it's going to cost them $20,000 to complete the case, then everyone is going to see that $500,000 is an incredible return on the investment for only $20,000 that they've paid in legal fees. Why wouldn't the client re-engage with their case? And they're probably going to replenish their trust account immediately just to move that forward when they understand the value of the case and why the value of the case is so important. So at the end of the day, a client becomes disengaged because they're just not seeing the value of the work that they're doing with you and with the firm, and it becomes your job to show them. Remember, when it comes to your cases, you're always selling the value of the case to the client and showing them where they're going to win. My name is Scott Benton. I'm the host of Classroom to Courtroom podcast. Thank you so much for watching this episode. If you're finding this to be valuable information and you'd like to receive an alert every time we put out a new episode, you can go to our website. Our website is classroom2courtroom.com. That's classroom, the number 2, courtroom.com. You can leave us your contact information there, and we will send out an alert so that you know a new episode is available. Don't forget to share and subscribe, and we hope you'll join us on our next episode of the Classroom to Courtroom podcast. And we also hope you'll join us in the meantime of making the world a better place, one client at a time. Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us on Classroom to Courtroom, the podcast designed to help launch your first-time legal career. If you have any feedback or ideas for episodes you'd like to hear, you can always find us at classroom2courtroom.com, where you can leave comments, ask questions, and even join our online community. And always remember, by becoming an excellent and confident practicing attorney, you actually make the world a better place. Now get out there and master the art of practicing law.